Hello to all my NASCAR 25 painters out there. Welcome back to another episode of the Sloppy Joe's Paint Booth class on NASCAR 25. Thank you all so much for all the love on the last one with the inspired Jeff Gordon ride. That video kind of blew up a little bit, so I wanted to come back here at least with another good sequel. Now, we're going to stay in the Hendrick Motorsports camp today. I thought we could show at least a little love to Jeff Gordon's second biggest rival in his NASCAR career. And that's going to be his very own teammate, Jimmie Johnson, as we try to replicate the 2011 Jimmie Johnson Lowe's Chevy. All right, guys, now the first thing you obviously want to do is pick your style for the wrap of your car. Now, obviously, we cannot just make the exact same style as Jimmie Johnson's car. That would just be way too easy. So I want to go ahead and pick number 19 here. Now, you might be looking at this and being like, why are we picking 19? It looks like there's a bunch of weird lines on it. Well, this is what we're going to do. Okay, so for the base of the scheme, we're going to go ahead and go with a white. So you're going to go all the way here to the right here, and pick whichever white. It don't really matter which one you do. Take the diamond plate off for the pattern. Secondly, you're going to go to your secondary color here, and you are going to choose a... now, this is the red line here. If you notice, there's a little red line that's sort of like that little extra accent to the design that separates the blue from the white. So you want to go with a nice cherry red here, one that really sticks out. So any of these ones in the middle here are probably the best ones to go with here. So you're going to roll with that right there. Now, when you go to the accent, you're going to go ahead and go to the navy blue section. So we're going to go over here and go down to, I would say about right there is a good navy blue. It's a really dark blue. Like, it's really, really dark. So I'm honestly might even go with the last one here. Now, again, this might look a little to you right now, but just give me a second. I promise you it's all going to look really, really good. All right, guys, so I actually made a quick change here. I want you guys to keep the colors that I gave you. I'm going to go to style 9 because the front of the car is almost, blank, which is what you need for that design to kind of pop. So now that you have your colors kind of figured out, and now that I look at it, you really could actually change one color here. So go to the accent here and go to a red. Okay, so we're going to go to a red here. And then you're going to go to the secondary here, and you're going to go find that navy blue that we talked about earlier. So do that right here, okay? Now, this is where it might get a little tiny tricky, but if you follow along with me, it shouldn't be that hard. So you want to go to your left side here, and you want to go ahead and grab a square for your shape. Now, let's go ahead and change the color here to that navy blue we talked about, which is all the way to the left. And you're going to want to go all the way down to where it is right here. I'm going to go ahead and move this thing and push the scale all the way to the right. So just extend it as far as you possibly can. And now you're going to rotate it a little bit to where that red line is, you see that little divider with the red, with that white in the middle? Yeah, so you want to try to aim for that, okay? So that's what you're going to do. Actually, I'm going to try to move this a little bit more. I don't know if I can. I'm trying. Oh, that's the back of the car. Okay, good. All right, so cool. So now you got that all figured out. Now I want you to go add another white square. Now, don't forget, guys, you do have to mirror this as well on the right side manually, which is, I know, it's kind of a huge L. I don't like that, but maybe that's something we can get patched up later on. Now you want to take a white square here, and you want to extend this as far as you can, and you want to try to move it about right here. You want to rotate it, okay, and now expand that a little bit to where it's covering up the rest of that design, but it's just enough where you're getting that red line right there. You see what I did right there? How now we have that red, white, and blue line right there? That is what you're trying to aim for. All right, now that we have that part done, let's go ahead and go to the right side here of the car, and we're going to go ahead and mirror that over there. Go ahead and get rid of the car number here just so you can see a lot better. So go ahead over here, do the same thing what we did. Not that. not that. Go ahead and go find your square. Go ahead and make the color that red that we have here starred, so you know exactly which color that is. I do like that detail about the paint booth. You're able to, you know, kind of just see what color you already chose before. So that's just a fun little thing to have on there. Just makes it a little easier so you know what color you chose. We just need that mirror mode, man. We just need a mirror mode. So actually, I meant to do blue right here. Sorry, go to blue for this one, and just make sure it's lined up there pretty well, which looks like it is. And then you're going to go back and do the white square to do the top part of this. And then move them all up right there and just give them a little rotation. And then just move them down to where it just matches and takes over that red line, just like that. Pretty cool, right? Looks pretty nice. Very simple, but looks really good. All right, guys, this is where we're going to try to take over these little spikes right here on this car. So what I want everyone to do is go ahead and take a white square. Okay, we're going to take a white square, and we're going to go ahead and look at this left front quarter panel. And we're just going to expand it about down here. Make it all look nice and pretty. And for now, we're just going to expand this square and pretty much just take over that spot. Like it was never even there, right? Just take away that design right there. Give it a little rotation if you want to. Boom. Okay. And you're going to do the same thing over here on this side. Don't forget, no mirror mode yet. So you got to manually move some things the way you want them to move. So, yeah, actually, I'm going to make sure I didn't lose the color of this thing. There it is. Okay. So I do that too sometimes. If you make sure you don't want to lose a shape on your car, just change the color. So that way it's like a very obvious color, so that way you don't miss it or anything. Yeah, there we go. So I'm just going to go ahead and expand the scale on this one. Right there. Expand it again. And you got yourself a pretty little white square right there. There you go. It blends in. I mean, you could definitely see a little bit on the white, which I know is just kind of like, it's like kind of that annoying thing. You can play around with it too, see if there's a white you like better. That white actually might be the best one, honestly, for this. It actually blends in fairly well. So, might actually roll with... I guess it really doesn't matter. I mean, it's going to do that no matter what. So, yeah. So, you got that taken care of, okay? And now... probably the hardest part of this one is taking care of the roof and the hood. So let's go ahead and work on that. All right, so the roof is fairly easy. You're going to go ahead and take a square, which we've been using a lot in these videos. You're going to go to that star blue that should be on the bottom left of your color palette now. And you're going to go ahead and scale this thing to pretty much as big as you possibly can. Just expand it. Boom. There you go. There's the top of there's the top. There's that roof with the navy blue. Looks really good. Looks clean. Looks snazzy. Unfortunately, and this is the very, very unfortunate part about making this car, is I cannot get rid of the red, blue, and yeah, I can't get rid of that little red, blue swoosh. Not that it doesn't look bad. It just kind of takes away from the car we're trying to make here. But again, this car is supposed to be more of a inspired car. It's not an exact replica of this paint scheme, but it's supposed to share a lot of similarities to the car, so it's got a fun little twist to it. You'll see by the end, but I think it's gonna look pretty good. All right, now let's take care of maybe the hardest part of this car, and that's trying to replicate the Lowe's logo. Now we can't spell out the word Lowe's because we're not allowed all those decals, but we can make the actual Lowe's logo, the border around it. So that's what's really going to separate this car and make it look really snazzy. So we're going to go ahead and attempt this and see how we can make this iconic logo. All right, guys, so the first thing I want to go ahead and do here is, and you probably guessed it, it's probably going to be a square. It is a square. Now, this Lowe's logo has a red outline, okay? So we're going to go ahead, expand this square all the way we possibly can. I would probably say, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I would probably go to about right here to where that logo is going to be. I think that's probably good. You can play around with this a little bit if you want. If you want to make it a little bit bigger, you definitely can. This is the outline of the logo, so you definitely want it to pop a little bit. I say about right there. A little before the ZL1 right there on the hood is probably the best spot for this, so that's where we're going to put our base for this logo. Now, don't forget, too, guys, don't expand it too much where it's doing this because it's not really giving that square feel to it. So you want to just play around with it and find what you're comfortable with. So about right here, I would say is pretty good. So a 2.11 times 1.45 might be pretty good, where you're still getting that square look to the Lowe's logo. So let's go with that, and let's see how it looks. All right, for the next shape, we're going to go ahead and do another square, okay? So we're going to do another square here. We're going to go ahead and make it that color red, because remember, this is the outline of the Lowe's logo. And you're going to go up here to about right there, not too high, not, from there, because it's supposed to be like, so, the border of this Lowe's logo. So you want to try to aim for, I would probably say, for being 100% honest, do you see those 3 dots right there next to the hood flaps right there? I would locate it and put it around the middle of the first dot to the left, and that's telling the 3rd dot to the right. So basically, you're gonna have to play around this a little bit to what you personally like, but I'm gonna roll with about right there for that part. So you can see those 3 dots right there. I'm gonna put this second red square in the middle of those dots right there. Now you can play around with it if you want. If you want to make it a little taller, you can. That's totally fine. I think a little taller doesn't hurt this logo whatsoever, so that's what you want to roll with right there for the second square. All right, guys, and next up is our first shape that isn't a square. It's the triangle. So we're gonna get a triangle here, and this is gonna be the final piece of the Lowe's logo. So go ahead, make it your color red right here. All right, and then you're going to go ahead and just play around with this a little bit. So this one definitely has a little bit more of precision in order for you to make this look the way you want it to look. So right off the bat right there, it already looks like really clean. So you want to see that the second square definitely has a little bit of length to it before it shapes into a triangle here. So I'm just going to play around with it a little bit. I mean, I think right there is honestly pretty good. You can see that the left and right sides of the triangle are kind of touching where the end of the ZL1 logo is going to the second square. So I think that's a pretty good way of doing your triangle here. I have it at a 1.28 times by 0.83, no rotation whatsoever. And on the y-axis, it's at a 260 for positioning of the hood. So give that a shot and see what you think about it. All right, guys, now you're going to go ahead and add the filler of this logo. So we're going to go ahead and make this that really beautiful dark navy blue on the very bottom of your color palette here, okay? And now we're going to go ahead and just expand this thing to about to match where it is, right? We're not trying to take over the entire hood. We're trying to just match this up a little bit. So I would say about right here, and just get a little bit more of that red to kind of shine a little bit. Not too much though, because the blue is supposed to be the main thing of this logo. So I would say about right here is a good spot. So 2.06 times 1.34 on the scale, and a -16 and 1 on the x-axis right there for your first square. Now you're gonna go ahead and go back and add another square here, because we do love our shapes, our squares here that we're using for this paint booth. We do love our shapes. Very, very much so. Now you're going to go up here on your X and Y scale. And you're just going to try to match it up and just try to make it to where it's that same outline across the entire Lowe's logo here. All right, looks pretty good right there. Very snazzy, very nice. And now we're going to go ahead and add a triangle here for this logo. And this makes me so upset, because I really am loving how this is turning out right now, guys. I really am. I just wish there was a way you can make your own logos and save them to where you can just implement them on a car later, because I could really just print this logo all over the car where it's needed, but I can't do that. So again, love the paint booth. It's definitely not a bad paint booth whatsoever. There's definitely room for improvement on it though, but who's to say we can't use our minds and get a little creative, right, and have some fun with this. So right there, boom. How about that, guys? For an outline for the Lowe's logo, and I honestly think this looks pretty freaking good. I'm actually really, really happy with how this turned out right here. So now we just need to add a little extra details, and then we're gonna add the decals, and we'll get to the number, and we'll get this car all finished up. So I'm gonna go back to the front of the car here real quick, because you definitely need to add a little extra something here. We're gonna go ahead and add a gigantic square, and I mean literally a gigantic square here on the front of this car. And you may know where this is going. It's gonna go right here. Let's just say it's gonna put in the middle of that Chevy logo right there, okay? Now you're gonna go on down to scale. You're gonna expand this thing as wide as you possibly can to where it's just matching, and you're gonna go up And you're just going to try to line it up with that logo. There you go, just like that, okay? Now let's go ahead and turn it into a red. Okay. I actually might make this a little bit smaller. I don't like what it's doing there on the nose. But there's that. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing again. So just get another square. And go over here to your color palette all the way to the blue. And just do the same thing, rinse and repeat. Expand it and just kind of follow that outline you have for your Lowe's logo already if you did it the way I taught you to do it. So about right there, expand it on down. There you go. Looks pretty good, right? All right, guys, now it's time to check out the decals of our Jimmie Johnson inspired machine. So let's go ahead and see what design or what decal that is going to look the best on this car. So actually, for the better sake of it, let's go to the hood. Let's go to the hood and see what is the best thing we can do here, right? So now remember, the Lowe's logo here on the front is white, and then the side's going to be blue. So immediately you might think, oh, well, the Ally is going to be perfect for this. Well, you may think that, but unfortunately, when you go over to this side, there's no blue Ally logo in the game. So I could run Ally here. So let's, just for the sake of this, let's go ahead and put Ally right here and see how it looks. And I mean, yeah, guys, it looks good. It looks really good. It might be one of those things where I might just say, like, you know, screw it. We're going to run Ally. It's just how it's going to be. But let's play around this a little bit. So Ally right now is going to be your hood sponsor. So let's go ahead and go to the left side here and see if there's something that kind of matches the Ally. I think for the sake of the scheme, Ally might just have to be the primary sponsor, and then we just put a secondary that has that blue that looks really nice, just to kind of help with the scheme out. So just kind of going through here, a few things you can do here. You can rock a little iRacing. You can rock a little iRacing Studios right here, just to kind of share that blue a little bit. It looks pretty good if you ask me. Another idea I had is putting the IR Studios logo on the Lowe's outline here, but I don't know. That's more of a preference. Like this is where I tell you guys, for the most part, when you come to making these paint schemes, like your decals all depend on what you want, right? These videos aren't meant to like, hey, this is exactly how you need to make this paint scheme. I want you all to make the schemes the way you want to make them. But I'm hoping these videos are just giving you guys inspiration on how you can make your own adaptation of a Jimmie Johnson paint scheme for what this paint booth has given us here. So, you know, kind of looking through all of our options here, we're actually a little bit more limited than I thought we were going to be. So if we really want to, I'm going to go ahead here and actually choose iRacing Studios for the side sponsor, because that blue is legit matching what we are trying to do here. So I'm going to go over here with iRacing Studios. I'm going to go ahead and rotate it. I'm going to go ahead and expand it a little bit here. Actually, I might actually shrink it just a touch. But I'm going to put it about right over here. This is the part of the video where I tell you guys, do whatever you guys would like to do with your paint scheme when it comes to decals. I would love to see your guys' different ideas on the decals. So if you guys have any different ideas, shoot me a picture on Twitter at Joey Stone _8. Go check me out over there, or in the YouTube community, or on Discord. You know, just kind of show me what you guys are looking at. Show me what you guys think about what decals are probably the best for this. All right, well, let's go ahead and head to the team here, and there's a couple of numbers you can definitely do right here, guys. So right here, I have the 46 from my last Jeff Gordon car, but obviously the yellow that you guys want to go with here. So go the way to the top to the yellow here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would say 8. Number 8 is probably the one you want to do. So go pick that yellow right there. Here's your style. This is what you want to do right here. So now it just comes down to what number you want. So you can run the 4 for a 46 that has the 4 for Jimmie Johnson. A 57's fine. There's the 58, so 1 digit away from having that perfect 48. But there's definitely a few options you can roll with here. A 68 doesn't look that bad either. You know, that's not bad whatsoever. And you could run an 80-something number if you want to do that, or whatnot. So this really comes down to your choice, what you want to do here, right? Whatever you think is going to be the best bet. Personally, for this one, I think a 08, a 46, a 58, and I think there was one more. A 68 also would look pretty clean on this as well. So for this one, I am going to choose a 58 for this one here. So make sure your outline is set to black as well with that. Now let's go ahead and add the number to the car and see what it looks like. All right, guys, and here is your number right here. Now, obviously, I put the contingencies on this car, so that way this number can go right where it was originally here. So I'm going to go ahead and expand this number a little bit here just to add a little extra space. And guys, would you just look at that, man? Would you just look at that? That looks so clean. I'm actually really happy with how this turned out as I kind of make these on the spot when I record these videos. So that is just pretty freaking cool, man. I am so happy with how this is looking right now. And you also have your roof number here. Play around with that as much as you guys want. You guys can make it italicized if you want, or if you really want to, you can go ahead and make it the default here, the normal. I still like the italicized here for that number. So go ahead and expand it however big you want it to be. To take up that space, and then make sure you go over to the right side of the car and add that car number as well. And you're just going to go ahead and move it over here, and you're going to expand it to your heart's content. I'd say about right there is a pretty good number right there. And the last deal too you want to do is make sure you have your Goodyear set to a yellow and your Chevrolet to a white, so that way you can actually see the Goodyear on it. And guys, there you have it, your Jimmie Johnson inspired 2011 paint scheme for NASCAR 25 paint booth. And guys, I know on the side here thinking, oh, I see a little Jimmie Johnson, but where's the rest of it? But honestly, guys, the front of this car is what makes this car. Look at that custom Lowe's logo we made right there. That is just absolutely stunning. It looks so clean. Then you come over here to the side, and it really looks better in this angle here with that 58 right there. The iRacing Studios replacing the Lowe's right there on the side. Go into the back. Looks really clean here. And yeah, I'm just really happy with how this paint scheme turned out. Unfortunately, there's nothing I could do to change that red and blue on the C panel, the B panel, etc. But I really love how this car turned out, especially for all those Jimmie Johnson fans out there that want a little inspiration for a Jimmie Johnson car. So I really hope everyone enjoyed making this car if you followed along and all that. Really enjoyed making this one. Thank you so much for watching this paint booth class on NASCAR 25. Make sure, as always, to leave a like, comment a paint scheme you guys would like to see me tackle, and of course, make sure to hit that subscribe button and help this channel grow even more as we get closer and closer to 10,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay sloppy as always, and I'll see you guys in the next paint booth class.